This podcast today is going to be purposely about showing you how to slow down and refine what needs to be refined physically by building the foundation with nutrition, your nervous system, and building the foundations of good energy, hormonal balance, and digestion in your body so that you have the energy to speed up on what you actually want to speed up versus speeding up and breaking down your body. You're in a state of trying to speed up all the time, trying to grow your business, trying to be more present with your kids, trying to build more of a fulfilling life. I get it. You're doing it at the expense of your body. You're actually slowing down everything and you're not ever actually able to speed up because you haven't built the foundations to actually speed back up. You know that feeling when you're moving fast, taking action constantly, checking off the tasks on the to-do list, but somehow you're not actually getting anywhere? When your business isn't growing the way that you want, your body doesn't feel like yours anymore, and the time with your family feels like it slips right through your fingers? Here's what I realized is that I was already slowing down, but I was slowing down on all the wrong things. On today's episode, we're going to talk about slowing down to speed up, or really building the solid foundation you actually need to speed up to build the business you want and the personal life you want. So let's get started. Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode. I'm so excited to get started on the topic of slowing down to speed up. Before we get there, I want to let you know that my Black Friday waitlist is open. You'll want to head to the show notes or head to Instagram and DM me Black Friday, and I will send you the link. Just to give you a little sneak peek on what's on the Black Friday list this year is one-on-one coaching, which I haven't opened up in years. And I'm giving just a few spots out for Black Friday and Mindfully Well VIP upgrades. So think Mindfully Well program, already tried and true, along with more one-on-one touch support. And in order to be eligible for the Black Friday offer, you want to be on the wait list. This will not be on social media, and you will only know about it if you are on the list. And you'll get an email when the Black Friday offer is open on Monday, November 17. And then you'll be able to join and or schedule a call with me to discuss further. But there's going to be some really fun things coming up here in 2026, and I am excited for you to be along on the ride. So head to the show notes or DM me on Instagram, Black Friday. So let's get to the episode. I want to take you back to a specific moment in my journey. And actually, it really wasn't one moment. It was a collection of signs that my body kept giving me that I was ignoring until I really didn't want to ignore it anymore, or I couldn't ignore it anymore. I wasn't focusing on the things that actually gave me joy and presence in my personal life. I wasn't focusing on the things that gave me revenue and abundance in my business. Instead, I felt chaotic in my actions, and I wasn't doing what I needed to do to drive the needle in either area of my life. So yes, I was slowing down, even though I was slowing down on things that mattered to me. And I was not speeding up on the things that didn't matter. I was creating a lot of action, but not a whole lot of progress. So let me get specific on what this looked like physically, because I think you might recognize yourself here. I was feeling very tired and sluggish during the day. I could wake up with decent energy as long as I had some coffee, but by mid-afternoon, I was barely there. And my appetite was very low or non-existent, especially for healthy foods that actually fueled me well. You all know when you're feeling on point and you're like, yeah, I do want to eat the healthy foods. It's not a problem. But when you're not feeling on point, it's like you can only get yourself to eat the foods that are high sugar, highly palatable, easy to consume foods, easy access foods. You know, those ones that just make you feel good in the instant, but then make you feel miserable afterwards. And my workouts, I was losing muscle, I was gaining body fat because my actions were actually productive for healthy body composition. I was losing my metabolic health as well. And my sleep was unproductive. So I could fall asleep easily because I was really so exhausted, but staying asleep was always a problem. I was rather chaotic inside of my body and in my brain. So I would be so tired that I would fall asleep easily. But as soon as I bounced out of my deep sleep, it was hard to get back into light sleep or REM sleep, which meant my body wasn't recovering from day to day. And what this will actually look like in real time is that you fall asleep, but about an hour to 2 hours later, you wake up and then you're in and out of sleep for the rest of the night. That is when we know that you're exhausted, but you're not restored enough, or your nervous system isn't well cared for, that it isn't able to stay in the light or the REM sleep, which that's when your body really is able to recover. But here's what really hit me the hardest was because my actions weren't focused on what actually drives the needle in my business during the day or during business hours. I was spending a lot of personal hours working on growing and sustaining my business, which took away from my family. And as a solopreneur and somebody who works from home, that's so easy to have those blurred lines. And if I did have time with my family, I wasn't actually present. I wasn't with them how I wanted to be with them. My mind was thinking about emails. I was on the phone, checking apps, checking my email, checking my Instagram, looking at messages. My mind was thinking about clients when I should have been thinking about my children or my husband. And this was inadvertently slowing me down and not speeding me up at the same time. So this podcast today is going to be purposely about showing you how to slow down and refine what needs to be refined physically by building the foundation with nutrition, your nervous system, and building the foundations of good energy, hormonal balance, and digestion in your body so that you have the energy to speed up on what you actually want to speed up versus speeding up and breaking down your body. I know it's so easy to think about this and say slowing down to speed up is scary. And you're in a state of trying to speed up all the time, trying to grow your business, trying to be more present with your kids, trying to build more of a fulfilling life. I get it. I've been there. I still think about this all of the time. But here's the truth. You're doing it at the expense of your body. You're actually slowing down everything, and you're not ever actually able to speed up because you haven't built the foundations to actually speed back up. Your body can't keep up. And also, if you're building something that's bigger than the capacity that your body can even handle right now, how are you going to handle even the bigger thing? The bigger thing is actually going to break you down even deeper. So let's paint a picture of what this actually looks like. Not fulfilling the thing that you built, the thing that's actually probably most scary for you, taking on clients and not being able to fulfill it, and not being able to continue with that momentum and bringing more and more business in. Not fulfilling the marketing, not being able to keep up. If you're struggling right now to keep up and you think about a bigger business is all of a sudden going to help you feel better, you're going to be really disappointed when you have this bigger business and it feels even worse. And when you feel like you can't afford to take your foot off the gas, you're keeping yourself stuck in a cycle that feels very comfortable right now. It's a cycle of push, break down, push, break down. When you want is to be able to build and speed up versus push and break down. You're afraid of losing something by taking your foot off the gas when really you're gaining so much more. Right? You got to stop thinking about scarcity when I'm taking my foot off the gas and look at how is this actually very abundantly available for me. You're gaining a body that can keep up with you and everything that you want to build, and you're able to go. You're gaining a body that can keep up with you and everything that you want to build, and able to go with you on this journey of building something greater and more beautiful than where you are right now. So let's talk about what the foundation of your body, of your health actually is. It's 3 interconnected systems: your nervous system, your hormones, and your digestion. And I want you to understand why all 3 of these are critical, especially if you are a woman founder over 35, because here's how it works. When your nervous system is dysregulated, it's pushing out hormones and messages to the rest of your body to either produce or halt hormone creation. It's also telling your body to either detox hormones or halt detoxification of hormones. And this is especially critical for women over 35 because hormonal balance is already a little touch and go because of our age. And now when we've added nervous system dysregulation, now we've added a huge kink in the system, because this is the foundation of hormonal health. Hormonal health is not your age. It's not your genetics. It's not something outside of you. It's actually happening inside of your nervous system. It's the foundation of hormonal health and hormonal balance. So if you're over 35, it's already touch and go. We have to make sure that we're being responsible for the care of our nervous system and not pushing against it all the time, which means you need to allow for rest. You need to allow for recovery. You need to allow for restoration. We need to allow ourselves to embody a nervous system that's able to move from a fight or flight or freeze state, which is very common and very normal to be in those states. It's not normal to not know how to get yourself back into a connected, safe place within your body. Right? It's not the fact that we move into fight or flight or freeze. It's the fact that we never move out of it. We have to be able to move in and out of these states of regulation to be able to have the power of our body. It's all within your control. And it's easy to think that the nervous system is like this thing outside of us that we don't know what to do with it. It just has a mind of its own. It's beyond what we have capacity for. But the truth is that it's so within your control. It's about understanding what drives your nervous system into overworking and what you're able to do to bring your nervous system back into that connected, safe place. Now, your nervous system also drives the hormones that will break down or improve your digestion. And that's why I talk so much about digestion. You'll hear me talk about it with my 21-day gut reset. You'll hear me talk about it in podcast episodes, on Instagram. I'm talking about it all the time with my clients because digestion is the key, the home base of your entire body. And this is where your energy begins. So if where your energy begins is in poor health and isn't able to break down and use the nutrients you're getting in, how are we ever going to create consistent energy when we're not able to actually extract the energy from this broken down digestive process? You can be eating the most beautiful diet in the world with all the wonderful nutrients, but if your gut sucks, it means nothing. It literally goes into the toilet. And it all begins with your nervous system. The nervous system is where we create the hormones to build the body that is able to sustain us both hormonally and with our energy. When hormones and energy are on your side, guess what? The world is your oyster, my friend. You're going to be able to do so much in a way that feels so good in your body, and what you produce feels so good. But when they aren't working and we're not taking responsibility to make sure that we are cared for physically, mentally, emotionally, then we are driving our bodies into the ground for the sake of building a business that we're not even going to be able to sustain. So what does this actually look like in my daily life? How do I actually start this? I highly recommend starting with the morning. Your morning routine will make or break your day. This does not mean that you're waking up at 4 a.m. and doing a 12-step process. This just means, how do I actually wake up in the morning? Recognizing, do I wake up in a fight or flight state, or do I wake up in a freeze state? Are you thinking about the 10,000 actions and the to-do list that you need to do? And you're just focused on checking off those boxes or checking off the things on your to-do list so that you can feel better while you feel miserable in the process. And to be honest, that to-do list never actually is completed. So what's the point if we're never actually going to feel complete? And also, FYI, I have a free guide for you. You can head to the show notes. It's called the Morning Resource Guide. You can download it there. You can also head to Instagram and DM me morning, and I'll send it right to our DMs, and you can download it from there. But it will help you recognize, do I wake up in a fight or flight state, or do I wake up in a freeze state? It is very common to wake up in one of those. As someone who is a nervous system coach, and I focus on this all the time, I'm somebody who wakes up in a freeze state every single day. And the problem isn't that I wake up in a freeze state. The problem is, do I allow myself to stay there? The answer is no. I do things that move myself out of that dysregulation into regulation right away in the morning when my feet hit the ground. This guide will give you very actionable things to do, just a couple things that will help you move out of either of those states. And I love right away in the morning because you're more malleable in the morning when you wake up, right? Your brain isn't fully online, so it's not going to necessarily deeply talk you out of doing things versus when you are in the middle of your day. Sometimes it's hard to reel yourself back in. If you do it right away in the morning, that will already set you up for better success throughout the day to make better decisions that support a great foundation in your body and create that consistent energy. And the next thing that actually looks like is to pause and ask yourself, both in the big picture idea and the small picture idea, is what do I actually want here? Why do I want it? And how are you going to get it? Breaking it down from there into a big picture, a medium picture, a small picture. So making this very tangible, big picture, what do I actually want in 5 years? In my business, in my body, my health, my personal life. What do I actually want? Medium picture, what can I do in this year to be able to do that? Small picture, what am I doing this month? Right, to be able to drive these actions to create the vision that I actually have. And also vision versus goal. I like to talk in, and I will be talking more in vision embodiment versus goal. Goal sits in our mind. Goal is conditioned from the outside world. This is what you should achieve. Vision and embodiment is, how do I use my body to actually get there? How do I actually create it from the energy that I can have right now of this vision? How does it already live within me and it's a part of me, versus a goal lives in your mind and outside of your body? We want to bring it to us so that we are more magnetized and we're already embodying this life that we want to live. If we're already embodying it, we already get to have the wonderful feelings along with living with this vision. So asking yourself, what do I actually want? So many times we're creating all these actions that don't actually drive the needle for what we want in our life, in our business, and in our health. And when you know what you want, you're able to drive purposeful actions into what actually matters, instead of being chaotic with your actions throughout the day, where it doesn't actually matter or drive the needle on anything you really want to feel. So I want to share a story with you with one of my clients, because I think it will illustrate what's possible when you build this foundation, starting with your body. So I have a client and we focused on creating a great foundation in her body. We went to work on initially reducing inflammation, healing her gut, balancing her hormones. And we did this with some lab testing. And we went in and we worked with her nervous system and consistent nutrition. Those were the primary things we did initially: nervous system and nutrition. Then we added in a movement routine that supported her body, that was easily inflamed. She was somebody who, she would gain water weight from thinking about something that was inflammatory. She was super, very easily inflamed. She had a lot of food sensitivities. She would do anything, and all of a sudden we would have 5-pound weight gains. And not because the weight was the specific important part here. It wasn't about the scale. It was just about how easily triggered her body was into protecting her. So inflammation is stress. Stress is inflammation. If she did just a couple of things, her body would immediately respond in a negative way, which would tell us her nervous system is very dysregulated because it's trying really hard to protect her, right? With inflammation. So we created very strategic boundaries on how she ran her business, both energetically, with time, and her family. So she was able to have very clear structures set in place so she felt supported at all times, right? This is actual nervous system work in real time. It's not something that we're sitting down and meditating for 6 hours a day on. It's not something that we're, doing 6 sessions of breath work a week. It's something that's how do we create energetic boundaries so that you feel safe, both in your business, with your family, and in your body? And what happened was she was able to take her artistic business from a room in her house to a brick and mortar store to an online store as well. She's hiring, she has people that work for her, she's scaling her business, she's growing her business, she's putting more effort on what lights her up strategically while making sure that her revenue also continues to grow. It all started with building the foundations inside of her body with that nervous system regulation and consistent nutrition that agreed with her body and reduced inflammation and reduced stress. Don't dismiss how important nutrition is here for you. Nutrition is the primary way on which our body feels safe. If our body has to feel safe in order to create those consistent actions that drive the business. So nutrition isn't just about grabbing some lunch. It's about fueling your body strategically and making sure that you are giving your body what it needs. And also going back to digestion, that you can break down and use that food as well. Now, I know that some of you are thinking, I can't take my foot off the gas because everything is going to break. So here's what I want to ask you. Show me the proof that anything is going to break. And if something is truly going to break, then let's put some effort in making sure that it doesn't really break, because your business does not have to break in order for you to heal. You taking your foot off the gas is taking your foot off the gas of things that don't matter and drive the revenue and the sustainability of your business, right? We're just taking the gas off of the things that are not driving your results and the results that matter to you. So where can we add sustainability? Where can we add boundaries? Where can we add safety in your business? Because this is usually very easy to do in 1 or 2 steps. And then how do we reverse engineer so you can take better care of your body in very simple, sustainable ways? This is not a 10-step routine or something that's completely outside of what you're actually able to do in your day-to-day. This is actually sitting down to think about going back to that question, what do I actually want here? How do I fuel myself well and consistently? How do I make sure that I have energy and time boundaries set in place so I'm available for what actually matters and for what I care about and how my body is cared for? Go back to that question again. What do I actually want? And allowing yourself to sit down and answer this question very thoughtfully and thoroughly. And gaining clarity on what isn't working physically inside of your body. Could it be your hormones? Could it be your digestion? Is there an energy mismatch going on in your body? Does it go down to your blood sugars unstable? Do you have some insulin resistance? Are you possibly not metabolically healthy, which means do you have more body fat and you don't have enough muscle, which is also making you feel rather listless and just not like yourself? It's not just the cellular foundation of a healthy body, but it's also the foundation of how do you feel in your body? Because when you feel amazing in your body, guess what? You get to build and show amazing things to this world. So I want to address something important about the word slow, because I think there is a misconception here. When I talk about slowing down, I don't think you actually need to move slowly unless you really want to. If you want to move slow and that feels good for you, I think you should totally do that. However, I think most of us in this space don't want to move slowly, but I think that you can move intentionally. This goes back to that question. Again, I'm going to ask you, what do you actually want? Why are you doing this? What are you doing this for? How is this going to impact you? How is this going to impact your family and the world that we live in? And how are you going to do that? When you understand what you actually want, you get to take meaningful action, and you're not taking chaotic action on the things that don't actually matter and drive the business and your personal life and your health. You're going to take intentional actions to build intentional wealth. You're going to take intentional actions to build intentional health, intentional business, and you get to feel more peaceful along the way. You get to build this beautiful thing I call peaceful productivity. Wouldn't we all love to have that? And you can heal while you become peacefully productive. So here's what I want you to do this week so you can start building your solid foundation. First, assess how are you waking up in the morning and what are you doing from that state? Is it fight or flight or is it a freeze state? And also know some mornings you'll wake up in fight or flight and some mornings you'll wake up in freeze. The point here is to create awareness on both states and how to move into that more connected, safe place in your body. From there, you can take a simple action to help move yourself into that state where you're productive and peaceful and you feel more regulated throughout the day. And also, you're going to feel more well cared for, and you're going to build foundation in your body to help build and sustain your business, because it's not this or that. When I talk to somebody about slowing down to speed up, the slowing down is really refining and being intentional about your actions and not just doing everything and expecting an outcome. When you do everything and it's not intentional, you're going to get a very unintentional result. We want intention with your health. We want intention with your body. We want intention with your personal life and your family. And we want intention with your business. And then you get what you want. So make sure to grab the morning resource guide in the show notes. It's going to walk you through exactly how to assess your morning state and give you practical tools to start regulating your nervous system the moment you wake up. Remember, we're not slowing down to stop. We're slowing down to build a foundation that will allow you to speed up in a way that's very sustainable, fulfilling, and actually gets you where you want to go. So head to the show notes, make sure to download the guide, and sign up for the Black Friday waitlist if you're interested in high touch, one-on-one, really amazing support in 2026. So you can be the first to know when that Black Friday waitlist opens up on Monday, November 17th. All right, my friends, thanks for being here, and I will see you next week.